Today we're seeing Douglas Murray completely eviscerating, destroying a journalist from South Africa. Let's take a look.
I don't think that at all that what's happening in Gaza is genocide. I think it's an unbelievable smear against Israel. I've covered that war as I've covered many others.
Don't you think it's a self-inflicted smear against Israel?
No, I mean, I was in Ukraine last year. Are the Ukrainians committing genocide? I ask you.
What's that got to do with Israel?
I ask you, there are many wars going on.
Yeah.
He's trying to compare the situation because Ukraine was attacked by Russia. Not that Russia is trying to commit a genocide, but Ukraine was attacked by Russia. And after they were attacked, they're currently fighting Russia. So it's the same. Hamas attacked Israel, and now Israel is retaliating against Hamas. So is Ukraine committing a genocide?
Is Ukraine committing genocide?
No.
Right.
Is Russia committing genocide?
Russia is committing a war of hostile aggression, for sure. Although it doesn't seem to be attempting to eradicate the Ukrainian population as a whole, which is, of course, what genocide is.
Which is what Israel seems to be doing with Palestine.
Which is not doing.
I know that you work for Fox News, and I was called by...
Why would Israel be trying to commit a genocide by releasing pamphlets to tell people to leave? Why would they be committing genocide by sending soldiers into the Gaza Strip to go door to door and search for Hamas members? Why would they be committing a genocide by telling people to evacuate from the north to the south? Why would they be committing a genocide if they also try to vaccinate children against polio in the Gaza Strip? So on one hand, you're trying to keep them alive, but on the other hand, you're trying to kill them. It makes absolutely no sense. This journalist has no idea what she's talking about. None.
Fox News some time back to talk about the genocide happening in South Africa. And I said, there is no genocide happening in South Africa. So I was surprised that Fox could then see what was happening in South Africa as genocide, and yet what's happening in Israel as...
I don't speak for Fox. But the allegation of genocide against Israel, why would Israel be committing genocide in Gaza?
Like, well, what would you describe it?
It's a war. It's which I've seen up close.
Okay.
So let me just explain that. If you start a war, which is what Hamas did on the 7th of October, if you start a war, there are repercussions. There are repercussions to Russia for starting a war against Ukraine. Russia's lost a lot of troops. There are repercussions for Hamas for starting a war against Israel.
Do you think there are repercussions for an illegal occupation?
What's the illegal occupation?
Of Israel against the Palestinians.
Where?
That is an illegal occupation.
Where?
It is a determined illegal occupation.
Gaza?
Of course, Gaza and the West Bank.
Have you been to Gaza?
Yes, I have.
Is it occupied by the Israelis?
It's completely sealed off, as you know. That's
By
why
who?
they call it by the Israelis.
And who?
By the Israelis, by the US, and whoever else.
People always forget to talk about the other country bordering Gaza, and that is, of course, Egypt. They all think that because people are they're not good at geography. They have no idea. They think that Israel is completely around the Gaza Strip. But they're completely neglecting Egypt, who has just as much responsibility in this conflict as Israel. Exactly the same. And their fence is a lot stronger than Israel.
And who else?
The Israelis. Isn't that enough?
No, tell me who else is allegedly sealing the Gaza.
I'm saying that Israel is
She doesn't know.
has completely encircled Gaza. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out, as you know.
Well, as you know, if you've been, Gaza also has a border with Egypt. Why do you not mention Egypt? Egypt has a stronger fence to fence in the people of Gaza than Israel
so you agree
does.
that Gaza has been fenced off?
No, it's fenced off, although you might note that there are more workers until the 7th allowed into Israel to work and indeed to have medical treatments and others that were considered necessary, which Hamas doesn't provide. There was plenty more people every day coming in to work in Israel from Gaza until the 7th than were going the other way into Egypt. So
Just to make it a bit more clear, the people going from the Gaza Strip to work in Israel, first of all, they had permits to do so. But the people who worked in Israel on a daily basis, they were making about 400 shekels a day, which is more than enough to financially sustain a family in the Gaza Strip. And I'll give you an example. Buying a plate of hummus in the Gaza Strip is 1 shekel. They made 400 a day, meaning they can buy 400 plates of hummus. In Israel, for a plate of hummus, you can pay up to 40 shekels, 40 times more than Gaza. And they were making a lot more than what some Israelis make in Israel. Absurd. Israel was allowing people to prosper financially, to work, and to actually make the situation for their families better. The Egyptians did none of that. None. They had a stronger fence with the Gazans.
I go back to this question. Why do you say there's an illegal occupation of Gaza? Why did you say that?
Because there is.
Why? Well, who is
Israel
occupying
is an occupying state.
No.
It is internationally recognized.
No. It's not. It's not at all.
I want to move
that's
on.
That's your view. Hang on. That's your view. And
She wants to move on now when she's cornered and she doesn't know how to answer the question.
I have to correct your view.
Our views
I have
differ.
to correct. No, it doesn't. The facts, our views might differ, but the facts are the facts. And I want to pick you up on something you just did.
I'm interviewing you.
I know, but
Yes.
I think you're uninformed.
No.
So let me you are uninformed
Oh,
because
really?
first of all,
Yes.
you didn't say that Egypt is blockading Gaza. Secondly,
The most difficult thing for a person to do is to admit that they're on the wrong side. That's the most difficult thing. That's why leftists who are left-wing for 50 years, it's going to be incredibly difficult making them right-wing because they are sure that their side is the right side. It really hurts the ego to know that you've been a part of the wrong side for so many years. So these people will never admit that they're on the wrong side, ever.
you claim that Israel...
I'm talking about Israel here, and I want to move.
It's
I want
very
to move on
convenient
from
for
this.
you to mention Israel because you've clearly got an animus here. But let me come on to the second point. Let me come to the second point. As you well know, in 2005, Israeli troops ripped Jewish families from their home in the Gaza.
That was after Palestinians had been ripped from their homes in Gaza.
How far back do you want to go?
Okay,
You can do the Hebron massacre of 1924 if you want.
absolutely.
But let me just...
The Hebron massacre was in 1929. I'm sure that's what he meant, but he's too quick on his feet. So
But let's get to what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is we're talking about the action at the International Court of Justice.
No.
Okay.
But first of all, before we
don't change the topic.
come on to that, you've got to inform
South Africa's
your viewers.
actions there.
Yes, but we've got to inform your viewers of the facts, and you just misled them. In 2005, Israeli troops ripped every Jewish family from their homes in Gaza and handed over all of Gaza, which was completely clear of Jews.
That was after two Nakbas, I think in 19...
She just said 2 Nakbas. The woman just said 2 Nakbas. That's what she said. The only Nakba that happened, the only one, was not even a Nakba. Because if the Arabs would not have launched a war against Israel and would not have posed a blockade on the Jews in Jerusalem in 1948 and 1947, not a single person would have had to be displaced. The Arabs living in the region would not have been told by Arab leaders to leave and then come back once the war is over. Not a single one. But when the desire to destroy us is greater than building your own sovereign state, that's the result.
48 and 1967, when Palestinians were ripped from their homes that were originally there.
That's your
I know, so let's
specific interpretation of the history, and yours is a very no. But we can agree to disagree, but don't misinform your viewers. And you can go back. Well, I'm not misinforming your viewers. I'm informing them because you're not. The point that I'm trying to make, which Israel...
She's so annoyed. She's so annoyed. She's like, what have I done? Why did I bring Douglas Murray for an interview?
Moved away from Gaza, and Gaza has been sealed off ever since.
The point you keep on trying to distract everyone from is that Israel took every Jew from Gaza in 2005, handed it over to the Palestinians, who then voted in Hamas, and to the great detriment of the Palestinian people. They have been ruled by Hamas for the last 18 years. If you want to look to the source of the conflict, look to that fact.
Okay, so how many illegal settlements are there in the West Bank? That's also illegal under the United Nations, under international law.
Let's talk about the settlements for a second, because I see a lot of people getting confused. First of all, the illegal settlements are not illegal. In 1993, the Oslo Accords came to be, and both the PA and Israel agreed that Area A is going to be an area controlled fully by Arabs. So, for example, Ramallah is an Area A, Jenin is an Area A, and then they would have Area B, which is controlled by both the PA and Israel, and Area C, which is controlled only by Israel. The illegal settlements that she's talking about are in Area B and Area C, which are both controlled by Israel. Area B is controlled also by the PA. But in Area A, you won't find settlements at all. And if you do, I condemn these settlements. They shouldn't be there, because that's the legal agreement that we signed. But in order for it to be occupied, it has to be taken from a sovereign entity. Who did we take it from? Did we take it from a Palestinian state? It was never formed. Did we take it from Jordan? Jordan illegally occupied it from 1948 until 1967, and then when they tried to pose another war in 1967, it was taken back. There is an international principle called uti possidetis juris, which states that a newly established state takes on the old borders of the entity that was there before, meaning Jordan illegally occupied it from Israel, not the opposite. So this area belongs to Israel because no Palestinian state was formed, only a Jewish one. An Arab state was formed, not a Palestinian one.
Those settlements on the West Bank are illegal.
Which ones were legal in your view?
In the Middle East, and every time there would be a peace agreement, settlements would pop up, and that's why we are where we are today.
No, it's not.
So let's try and move on.
No,
let's try and
move on. It's not at all where we are.
If we would not have any settlements in Judea and Samaria, Kfar Saba, Herzliya, Ra'anana would be exactly like Be'eri and the other kibbutzim around the Gaza Strip. Judea and Samaria would turn into a terror hub. It's already a terror hub, but it would turn into a terror hub of people being able to commit atrocious terror attacks in the center of Israel. So the people who are living there are the front line of the Jewish people, of the Jewish nation. And I'm proud of them.
No, well, hang on. We're not achieving anything here, so let's try and move on.
No.
Let's try and move on.
No, it's very, because you just did it again. You just threw in another false fact. We are not where we are today because of settlements in the West Bank that are disputed. That's not why Hamas broke out of Gaza on the 7th of October and massacred people in their homes.
As we know,
that's
Hamas
not because of the West Bank, and you well know it. You well know that.
And
you well know that Hamas did not commit the massacre of the 7th of October because of settlements. They did it by their own admission because they want to massacre every Jew they can get their hands on, and Hamas has said they will do it again and again. So don't get onto the distraction of settlements. That is a second-order priority. The first order...
It's easy to fob those off, isn't it?
It's easy for you to try to distract people about it. But I'm saying don't distract them from the crimes of Hamas. Don't do that.
I'm not distracting.
Well, you are. You just said that's why they did it. You said they did it because of the settlements. And nobody...
I'm glad Douglas is pushing her to answer the question. She's trying to navigate away from the question, but he's really sticking to it. I like it.
Were repugnant.
I'm glad you
despicable.
said that finally.
Finally. But what I'm saying...
Or he's been here for some time with you going on about settlements and everything else.
So we've got an illegal occupying force. We've got a situation that is making...
Hamas
has grown in popularity ever since this war on Gaza because Israel is making people more and more increasingly militant.
Israel. Again, Israel's blamed again for making people more militant. You don't think it's the Islamic ideology? You don't think it's Hamas making them more militant? You don't think it's Hamas educating people at schools that every single Jew should be killed? You don't think it's them? Only Israel?
So what is happening at the moment
Israel's making people more militant.
Is not working.
Do you think that Hamas is making people more militant or not?
Let's go back to the ICJ.
Do you think that Hamas is making people more militant or not?
Well, it's a catch-22,
Oh,
isn't
I
it?
see.
And I mean, until this illegal occupation is broken, until the suffering of the Palestinians is acknowledged.
And do you think that Hamas are interested in a solution where there's any Jew in that region or not?
I'm asking you the questions, and
well,
I want to
I'd love
move
you to
on
answer that one.
No, we can answer it. Let's just move on.
Okay, have a go then.
Okay. So
have
I
a go.
suggest,
Do you think Hamas want a peaceful solution with the Jews?
I'm asking you the questions. We can discuss this afterwards.
Oh no, I'd love to do this one on air. Do you think Hamas want to live beside the Jews? Yes or no?
They have recently said that they would be happy to live next to Jews, but they want a two-state solution. A two-state solution has been in the offing.
Hamas has not said they want a two-state solution. They carried out a massacre on October the 7th. There was many people...
Which shows great intent to actually get a two-state solution, right? To commit a massacre against the country you want to achieve a peace deal with. That shows great effort in achieving a two-state solution.
Good. Stole a lot of hostages who you still also haven't referred to. There's more than 100 Jewish hostages still in Gaza.
Right now there's 59.
Correct.
That's real kidnapping, and that's real occupation of somebody. And Hamas has said they do it again and again.
How do you feel when you see those children who've been shot in the back of the head? How do you feel when you see those children?
The Jewish
who are
children or the
suffering,
Palestinian children?
The Palestinian children.
I feel the same on each of them.
Okay.
I think it's all a tragedy.
Okay, good.
And I think
it is
it's
a
all on
tragedy on
Hamas.
both sides.
I think
so
it's
let's
all
try
on
and move
Hamas.
on.
They shouldn't have started a war.
Let's try.
There's consequences to starting a war.
I'm glad he brought this up, because journalists from around the world, when they speak about the Palestinian children, they forget to speak about the Jewish children that were brutally murdered by Hamas on October 7th. Brutally, in cold blood, intentionally, unlike the children and the civilians in the Gaza Strip who were killed as a collateral damage, because this is the act of war, the horrific act of war. Each one of their deaths is horrific. However, all of it is on the hands of Hamas. Because I'm going to keep saying it, if Hamas would not have started this war, not a single person would have to lose their lives. Not a single one. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.